Alright, hello and welcome to day 3 of Halloween here on the Professional Gamers channel. And today, keeping up with our Halloween theme, we're taking a look at essentially the quintessential, that's a great set of words right there. Essentially the Halloween archetype of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is Ghostrick. Now, this list is actually not of my own devices. This is actually Devin Brensel's list, and you've seen him some other times on the channel, most notably in his Zephyra deck profile. So, this deck focuses basically around decking your opponent out through the use of Ghostrick Skeleton, who you can see in the top left there. So, when he's flipped face up, you can banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck equal to the number of Ghostrick monsters you control, and that is a hard once per turn. Now, they all share the common effect where they can't be normal summoned unless you control a Ghostrick monster, and once per turn you can change this card to face down defense position, so I'll be excluding that when I explain the rest of them, but that's something they all have in common. So basically, the way the deck works is you deck your opponent out through the use of Skeleton, and you have some other support cards in there, like Book of Eclipse actually really helps, as you'll see later on here. But basically, through the use of Skeleton, you'll set up, you'll protect him, you'll kind of sit around him, set up a board with 4 other Ghostricks, and just protect him while using the other ones essentially as like cannon fodder for the deck. So you'll flip him, banish 5, put him back down, flip him, banish 5, put him back down, and you just keep doing that until your opponent's out of cards. And with the way the game is today, your opponent will, usually get themselves pretty low as a good starting point for you anyway with things like Desires. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we have 3 copies of Ghostrick Jiangshi. I believe that's how you say it, but I probably say everything wrong. When this card is flipped face up, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Ghostrick monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of Ghostrick monsters you control. So she searches on flips essentially. If you have 3, she can search these first 5 buddies here. If not, you'll be searching the rest of the monsters in the deck. We've already gone over Skeleton, so we'll go right to Ghostrick Mary. When you take damage, you can discard this card, special summon 1 Ghostrick monster from your deck in face down defense position. Now, the reason we really have 3 of her is because of Where Art Thou Down her, because it's basically like a mini engine for her. So if you have level 1, you can search her off of this. During the end phase, you'll take the 2000, and then you'll be able to activate her effect, discard her, and special 1 from your deck, which will probably be one of these 2. So it's probably your easiest way to get to Skeleton, or to get you to a Jiangshi, which is another way to get you to a Skeleton. That's why there's only 2 in the deck, because he's a hard once per turn, so you're not resolving him multiple times a turn. You don't want to clog with 3 of them, you just want to get 1 of them, and then protect them and have another one as a backup. Next up, we have 3 copies of Ghostrick Spectre. Now, when a Ghostrick monster is destroyed by an opponent's card effect or by battle with their attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position, and if you do, draw a card. So he actually works as a swaggy +1 with Jiangshi here, because whenever she's flipped face up by battle, she gets destroyed by battle. First, Spectre will be added to hand, then she will go to grave, then you can special him and draw a card. Look at that, +1, it's so broken. But yes, he just serves, he helps you maintain board presence, so if they get rid of 1 of your monsters, you can special him to kind of replace it. It draws you a card, so it kind of keeps you going and just replaces what you lose, basically. And for some 1-ofs, we have 1 copy of Lantern. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, or when a Ghostrick monster you control is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position, and Ghostrick Jack Frost. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can change that opponent's monster to face down defense position. If you do, special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position. So they kind of fill the same role, but in some slightly different ways, and they're searchable, so we don't have to run multiple copies of anything. Moving on to the non-Ghostrick cards, we have 2 copies of Gofu. Gofu's self-explanatory. 1 copy of Necroface, because I fucking hate this card. But I'm willing to accept running it for the theory of the list. So basically, Necroface is 5 more cards that you don't have to banish. So if you banish him off of a lore, that's 5 more cards on the top of your opponent's deck that you don't have to banish with Skeleton. So he can he basically acts as another free Skeleton if you use him with a lore. And then just some searchable hand traps in Drone Lockbird and DD Crow, and Maxi to round off the hand trap lineup. From there, we have 3 copies of Book of Eclipse. Now, this card was the MVP for me, because obviously it can reset all your monsters, it can get them all back to face down defense position, but it can also stall so your opponent can't swing over them. So battle phase, you can just flip all their stuff face down. You get to maintain your board presence, and say your opponent has 5 monsters on the field. You can activate this, and then during the end phase, they draw 5. Then on your turn, you can flip up Skeleton, and then banish 5 more cards. So this in combination with Skeleton can help you deck out your opponent extremely fast, and you'll see that at the finishing point of one of the replay I'm going to show off for you guys. So it's protection and actually helps with the win condition of your deck. 3 copies of Roar Arthau, it just searches all your level 1s, and again is the mini engine with Mary. 3 Allure because everything is in dark basically. 2 copies of Instant Fusion, 1 for Thousand Eyes and 1 for Fusionist down here because they're the levels for all the XYZs we're going to be wanting to go into, so they can help facilitate those plays. And 3 getting onto the spells and getting onto the Ghostrick traps, we have 3 copies of Ghostrick Scare. Now this lets you target any number of face-down defense position monsters you control, change them to face-up defense position, count the number of Ghostrick monsters among them, and if you do, change up to that many face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. So say you have 5 on the field, you can flip 5 up, and then flip up to 5 other monsters face down. So this kind of acts as like another Book of Eclipse. It can trigger some of your effects. It can protect you by putting all their stuff face down battle phase so they can't swing over anything. So it has like a lot of stuff kind of fills like a double role here. 2 copies of Ghostrick Vanish. Reveal 1 Ghostrick monster in your hand. This turn, Ghostrick cards you control and face-down defense position monsters you control cannot be targeted or be destroyed by card effect. Just another way to kind of last longer and stall a little bit. And 1 copy of Ghostrick Go Round. And you can do each of these effects you can do one of these effects during each battle phase. So target 1 Ghostrick monster you control, change that to face down defense position, and if you do, change 1 face down defense position monster your opponent controls to face up attack position. And we have the inverse as the second effect, where you can change 1 of your face down defense positions to face up, and 1 of their face up monsters to face down defense position. And it looks a little weird running the 3, 2, and 1 here, but they are all searchable off of Ghostrick Angel of Mischief, which you can overlay onto either of these XYZs as well. So they are, you can see all of them pretty easily, and you can grab whichever one you need depending on the situation through Angel down there. And then, just to put more stuff in face down, again, these are great stalling cards and fit with the theme of the deck. We have 2 copies of Floodgate and 2 copies of Quaking Mirror Force. Moving on to the X deck, we have 1 copy of Omega because Gofu is the level 5 tuner, and we have level 3s. Our targets for Instant Fusion are targets for Gofu when we're not using him as a tuner. Breaksword, Levier, and Recite Starling as our generic, as our non-Ghostrick XYZs. And then we have 2 copies of Dullahan, 2 copies of Alucard, and 3 copies of Angel of Mischief. Dullahan can have something's attack once per turn. Once per turn during either player's turn can have something's attack, and it gains 200 for every Ghostrick on the field. Alucard prevents your opponent from targeting any Ghostrick monsters or face-down monsters from attacks except itself, and can pop 1 face-down card on the field. And Angel of Mischief has a win condition if you put 10 XYZ materials on her, but she can also search her spells and traps, which is mostly what we will be using her for. So that about does it for the deck, so we'll go ahead and get into the, I would say replays here, but I have one really good one that I'd rather show off instead of a few ones, so we're going to go ahead and use just that one here. Alright, so we're down here at the bottom with Ghostricks, obviously, and we're up against Toons up here at the top. He's running 45 cards, so he's already making it harder for us to game him here, but it's kind of gimmicky. He has some Necrofaces in there. He has, as you can see, fucking great. It's like Banish Toons. He has some weird stuff like Lose a Turn, and it's not good, but it made an interesting duel, so we're going to be showing it off here anyway. So we're down here going first, so we're going to go ahead and go Gofu into Decode Talker here, just so we have some something with some board presence, and we can just set the Zhangxi there. Then he goes up to 28. If something targets, we can negate it by tributing her, and we have a Floodgate and a Book of Eclipse down there. So we're set up decently. Now he's going to go ahead and Toon Table into the field spell. The field spell is actually interesting because if a Toon monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck instead, and he's never not going to do that even in this duel, even when he knows what my win condition is. So he's actually going to be hurting himself here. So we'll go ahead, he'll special the Red Eyes Toon Dragon off of Blackstone Legend here, and that can actually special another one from hand. And I was afraid basically of exactly this happening, of him specialing another one of those and being able to make a rank 7 play, so we're just going to go ahead and Floodgate that to start with. That way he has to keep a high level thing in hand, basically. So we'll go ahead. He's gonna set up some backer here, Quaking, Spirit Barrier, and lose a turn. I mean, you can't blame him. Tunes just aren't good. So we'll go ahead. We will set up the skeleton here with the Jiangshi, and we have the Ghostrick go around and the Book of Eclipse. And again, that's floodgated. And tunes are a lot of high-level monsters, so I'm not super worried about him outing anything. Then we're gonna go. I'm probably not good. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played this deck that much because I really just haven't had time to. I've been extremely busy, so you're probably going to notice me doing a lot of suboptimal plays and just bad plays with this deck because I didn't really have the time to fully learn it here. But I can show off, just the basic gist of what it should be doing, I feel. So we're going to go ahead and show off the replays anyway. But again, if you notice some misplays or some very suboptimal plays or some obvious things I missed or just weird ways I'm doing things, like how I grabbed this guy just to, summon him and get more fodder on the field for this, that's just stuff like, again, I just haven't had time to really learn it perfectly here. But that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and banish some off the top of his deck, flip those all face down, and we're slowly getting there. We're slowly being able to, building up the ability to banish more and more. So again, we're going to flip that face up. That'll grab us another one. We'll go ahead and null some of the extra Mary we grabbed. We'll banish 4. And this is basically how it's going to be going for a while. So we're just going to keep flipping them all face down. We'll do a little bit of damage there. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't activate the Spirit Barrier. Do you have to control only face up? No, well, you control a monster. So I don't know why he didn't do that earlier. I mean, life points don't matter with this deck, but anyway. So we'll go ahead, we'll flip up the Jiangshi, we'll search. He'll go ahead and tribute for the Red Eyes Toon Dragon. Set up a D-Fissure, we'll allure into a Where Art Thou and a Floodgate. And here you'll see the Ghostrick Mary play. So we'll Where Art Thou into that. We'll go ahead, we'll banish 4. We'll flip them all face down. We'll go ahead and attack Decode Talker, which will make him banish a card. We'll go ahead, set the Floodgate, and there you see the Mary will trigger. We'll discard her, and it will special another skeleton from deck. So we have both of our skeletons set up. And here you're going to see the Necroface, because of course we'd see the Necroface when we're playing a deck that has to banish to win. I probably deserve. I mean, this isn't typical banish deck. It's still gimmicky, but it's Ghostrick, so it's better. But yeah, so we'll go ahead. He'll summon a Necroface. He'll put everything back, and on turn 10, we're starting over again. He's going to go ahead and use that. We'll just obviously tribute, say, the Decode Talker, and he'll lose a turn, which honestly is going to hurt him more than us in this duel. We'll go ahead. He's going to try to attack with the skeleton. So we'll go ahead. We'll use Ghostrick Go Round on the Necroface, and we'll go ahead and use Lantern to stop the Toon Dragon. So you kind of see we're playing Protect the Castle on our Ghostrick skeleton here, and that's basically how things are going to go for a while. So I'm probably just going to speed this up until something interesting happens here. Oh, and then there you see me, obviously not, knowing the deck full enough yet. I forgot that he was a hard once per turn there. But yeah, we'll go ahead and speed things up until some interesting stuff happens. Oh, here we go. There's something interesting. And he goes ahead and he summons Necroface once again on turn 14. He put them all back again, so we're gonna have to go through and try to banish them all one more time. But oh god, it's anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up again. Until some more interesting stuff happens here. Oh, actually, I'll talk about Scare. So here you can see Scare and how insane that can actually be, because we're just going to plop a lot of his monsters down and then actually banish 5 there. So that card actually puts in a lot of work. Okay, we're actually getting close to the end here. So he's going to go ahead and attack. And we have 2 Book of Eclipses set up. So we're going to go ahead and activate one of those on the attack to put them all face down, or put everything face down. Now, end phase, he only has, I think he had 14 cards left in deck. So end phase, he's going to draw 5. But we still have a second Book of Eclipse, and it's not once per turn, and we have a skeleton set up that can banish 5. So we can take 15 cards out of his deck, and he only has 14 cards in his deck. So we're actually going to go ahead, stop all the attacks of the Book of Eclipse. He'll draw 5. We're going to go ahead and activate a second Book of Eclipse to put them all back face down. They're going to flip all back face up during the end phase. He's going to draw 4 more, and he's going to go ahead and scoop there because Skeleton was just going to banish 5 and game him there. So that, obviously, I probably made a lot of mistakes and didn't play this super well, but it was just a very, very interesting replay that I wanted to show off here. Alright, so that was our look at Ghostricks for day 3 of Hello Week here. So there were 2 videos before this, and there will be 4 videos after this. So feel free to, stick around to check out the new ones, or, feel free to go back and check out the ones I put out before this. But no, seriously, any of that would be greatly appreciated if this is something you enjoyed. I also have a Discord, a link to my Discord down in the description. Great place to chill, hang out, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Among other things. Just a very chill place, nice to hang out and such, so I'll have a link to that down in the description. And if you enjoy my work and the effort I put into editing and just recording and everything like that, I have a link to my Patreon down in the description, and there's no pressure to support me, no content or anything will be gated off, but starting soon I'm going to be putting up extra duels that don't make it into the final cuts of deck profiles or worst decks of all time, so there's a little bit extra that you guys get, but no usual content or anything will be gated off. It's just if you have a little extra to give every month, it would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. So basically the day. So basically the way So basically the way the deck works. I can't say it now.